through Fox News and let the independents who are tuning into you, let them know what it is that she stands for, the principles behind her positions.
It used to be that new candidates were advised to brush up on the issues so they could handle questions from anyone, even tough questions. The idea behind that was that it prepared you also for actually governing. But now the advice to candidates is only to talk to sympathetic reporters.
We need to start now by electing strong leaders who aren't afraid to shake it up. We need strong, principled leaders, public servants who respect our Constitution.
We need clarity. We deserve answers, so we don't ask the same questions tomorrow.
Good night, Lauren. Assault at Lexington at the Rand Paul-Jack Conway senatorial debate.
Get the police! Get the police! Get the police! Get the police!
MoveOn.org supporter Lauren Valley, her head stomped on by a Rand Paul County campaign coordinator. The Paul campaign staffer blames the police and the camera angle. He's been served with a criminal summons. The details, meanwhile, are coming fast and furious out of Kentucky, where the MoveOn.org supporter at the Rand Paul-Jack Conway debate turns out to have been stomped on by a Paul campaign county coordinator whose endorsement Rand Paul boasted about in a newspaper ad this morning. The victim, Lauren Valley, is my guest next. Last night, supporters of Kentucky's Republican Senate candidate Rand Paul attacked a supporter from MoveOn.org. They dragged her to the ground, then the Bourbon County coordinator for the Paul campaign stepped on that supporter's head. In our fourth story, the victim, Lauren Valley, will join us in a moment. Meantime, the Paul campaign makes it slow progression from one unacceptable reaction statement to another. The incident happened in Lexington just before the debate between Paul and the Democratic nominee, Attorney General Jack Conway of Kentucky. Today, Tim Proffitt, the Bourbon County campaign coordinator for Paul, admitted that he was the man who stomped on Ms. Valley's head. His non-apology apology via the Associated Press includes this, quote, "I'm sorry that it came to that, and I apologize if it appeared overly forceful, but I was concerned about Rand's safety." Mr. Proffitt also said that the camera angle made the incident appear worse than it was, and he criticized the police for not stepping in. Police have now issued a criminal summons for Mr. Proffitt to appear in court, where a judge will decide if charges are warranted. The second attacker, the one most responsible for wrestling Ms. Valley to the ground, has been identified on the blogosphere, but we're awaiting formal confirmation of his identity. But back to Mr. Proffitt, who was so central to the Paul camp that it touted his endorsement at the bottom of an ad the campaign took out in a Bourbon County paper, which appeared today. And the Paul campaign's first statement on the matter shortly after midnight tried to blame both sides. It reads in part, "We understand that there was an altercation outside of the debate between supporters of both sides, and that is incredibly unfortunate." Speaking for himself today, Mr. Paul did not fare much better.
What was your reaction that, folks who were wearing Rand Paul T-shirts and hats treated this woman this way?
Well, we want everybody to be civil. We want this issue, the campaign, to be about issues. I will tell you that when we arrived, there was enormous passion on both sides. It really was something where you walk into a daze of lights flashing, people yelling and screaming, bumping up, and there was a bit of a crowd control problem.
And once again urges all activists on both sides to remember that their political passions should never manifest themselves in physical altercations of any kind. Joining me now, as promised, Lauren Valley of MoveOn.org. Thanks for your time tonight, Lauren.
Thanks for having me, Keith.
How are you feeling?
I'm pretty sore, but I still have a little headache. I'm doing okay, though.
Tell us what you were trying to do before what was captured on videotape, and then what happened.
Sure. I've been in Kentucky for the past 2 weeks working on a project, on a move-on project called Republic Corp, which is a conglomeration between, a fictional conglomeration between the Republican Party and corporate America, and I actually should say satirical because it's not really fictional. And the conglomeration is formed by the merger, the official merger between the Republican Party and corporate America. So I've been in Kentucky running events as a Republic Corp executive. We were at a previous debate. I've been in town raising awareness about the Citizens United decision and how that's impacted corporate spending in this election cycle, particularly in Kentucky.
So what was happening just before the videotape? You were trying to do what as you moved into that crowd?
Well, just before the tape, I was identified by the Rand Paul campaign because they've seen me around town at these events, and they realized that they know me because of my work and they don't support it, and so they actually formed a blockade around me once they realized that I was there. And as Rand's car pulls up, they step in front of me and start to block me, and so I stepped off the curb to try and get around them, and at that point they pursued me around the car, chased me around the car, and what you see in the video is when I'm in the front of the car, and that's when I'm pulled down, and then my head is stomped on.
So you were not mistaken for some sort of threat to Mr. Paul's safety? Before the tape rolls, they know who you are and what you're trying to do?
Yeah, it was premeditated. My partner, Alex, who was with me, heard them behind us say, "We're here to do crowd control, and we might have to take someone out."
Yeah. Well, also the police report afterwards did confirm that there was no justification for what the supporters did. The wig was because of what? Why were you wearing the wig?
Part of our tactic with Republic Corp is to be Republic Corp executives, and so I've been in costume all week. We film videos, and we do events in character. So I've been in different characters all week for the past 2 weeks. So that was me being a Republic Corp executive.
Why do we hear on that tape Paul supporters and this Mr. Prophet calling for the police?
I think it's because I'm being tackled to the ground. I think I would be calling for the police if I was witnessing that as well, because clearly I'm being injured.
Do you plan to pursue charges on this? I mean, what is the status of this case as you understand it?
We are proceeding with a legal process. As far as I know, there's been a summons issued, and there will be a court date set. I plan to see the process through. I think that it's very important that people be held responsible for this sort of behavior.
This is really an aside, but it's too ironic to not let pass, and I know if you can't answer this, you probably had other things to be concerned about at the time. It appears as if the man who actually threw you to the ground was wearing a "Don't Tread on Me" button. Could you see? Is that true?
Well, I couldn't see much at all at the time, but I think that that's true. And, I think that what is important to say, since we're also concerned about freedom, is that none of us can be free if some of us are oppressed.
The Paul campaign, Mr. Paul today himself, in that really inarticulate statement, have implied that you or other so-called activists have done something wrong here. How do you respond to that?
They're really concerned with the Constitution, and my First Amendment right is freedom of speech, and that's exactly what I was exercising. I was there with a sign, and simply wanted to have that sign be seen, just like the hundreds of other people that were at the event. So I can't really see anything wrong with that.
All right, so that brings us to a concluding question. You were not trying to hand anything to Rand Paul. You were not trying to get to Rand Paul. You just wanted to hold up a sign?
No, I just wanted him to see it. Part of what we do is get the Republic Corp logo in the same shot as our employees. I was holding an Employee of the Month award as Rand is on Republic Corp staff as part of our satire, and so I was interested in him seeing it and getting a shot, but I certainly had no intention of harming him, contacting him at all.
Lauren Valley, move on. We're glad that you're okay, relatively speaking, and thanks greatly for your time tonight.
Thank you so much, Keith.
It is not what happened to Ms. Valley, but the almost farcical rationalization by the admitted perpetrator, Mr. Prophet, that brings us to this postscript. The idea that the videotape of the assault distorted what really happened. We've heard this before. The Bill Hicks is still ahead of his time. Clip of the week takes us back to the Rodney King trial, in which L.A. police officers insisted it was all in the way you looked at that videotape.
How you look at the tape? Well, would you care to tell the court? You're looking at that. Yeah, okay, sure. That's how you look at it. Okay. For instance, well, if you play it backwards, you see us help King up and send him on his way.
Amazingly, what part of Miss Valley was stepped on has been lied about today on national radio. Can you guess by whom? Details later in Worsts. Let's get out your pitchforks and torches. Time for tonight's Worst Persons in the World. The Bronze to Tokyo Rose Limbaugh rationalizing the assault on Lauren Valley by lying about it.
The man puts his foot down on her head. Now, in the video that AP itself posted, the man put his foot down on her shoulders. It would look to me like an effort to help restrain her. Why exaggerate what happened unless you're trying to...
You're not only a damned liar, Limbaugh, you're a damned bad liar.
What I don't like from the president's administration is this sort of, I'll put my boot heel on the throat of BP. I think that sounds really un-American.
Campaign of Republican Rand Paul says that Sarah Palin is now in their corner. And as WHAS 11's Joe Arnold reports, the endorsement intensifies a battle for the soul of the GOP.
Paul's conservative approach has the support of Sarah Palin.
He wants limited government. I respect that, and I'm proud to support him. He wants limited government. I respect that, and I'm proud to support him. He wants limited government. I respect that, and I'm proud to support him. He wants limited government. I respect that, and I'm proud to support him. He wants limited government. I respect that, and I'm proud to support him. The Tea Party American movement is going to grow. On November 3rd, November 2nd isn't the end of this. It's the beginning of this, the reawakening of America and understanding what our foundation is and how America was built and how it became prosperous and generous and safe. And now we need to build upon that.
Suppose Senator John Doe puts forth a constitutional amendment that would outlaw abortion, even in cases of rape or incest, and he asked you to attend the announcement and support him in that. Would you do it?
I would. Yes, a proposal like that, I would stand by it.
Let's be completely clear about the facts here. There is no place in the world and no time in history where restricting women's reproductive rights makes a people or a nation more free or more equal. These extreme positions on abortion are, without any question, a war on American girls and women, and the fact that there are women who are both complicit and participatory in it is really neither surprising nor unprecedented. It has always been true, and it is incredibly important that we recognize that despite the fact that we can be very proud of these women and as politicians, that the question is, how do women as citizens fare on the other side of them either being elected or not elected?